Okay. I've written a book on something that's very important for me. Okay. And so I decided for the past year, I've done video on the small chapters on this book. And so I decided to put the whole book in one video today. The reason why, because it's a very important book for me. It's very important. It gives out a very important message, and the book itself is okay. I have the book here. It gives out it gives out a very important message. Okay, and the book itself is named. How to Eradicate Rape with the Right and Knowledge to Change Our Sex Traits, 2023. Okay, and here's the book in question. Okay, that's in the color one, but it's not finished yet. I still have to edit it. I already edit about 21 times. Now it's come up to about 22nd time. This is the one in French. Comment éradiquer les viols par le droit aux hormones féminisantes. I didn't put the date on. Okay. So that's it. Now, to me, that's a very important message. It's a book that I've been writing since 2015, and I've collected the observations about the rape cultures, or about rapes in general, since 1975, and I've been studying the biology of the human body since 1986, plus reading a lot of the books written by psychologists and psychiatrists. But studying the biology of the human body, I've read like endocrinologists, anthropologists, books, and cell physiology, and also the anatomy and the physiology, and all the other chapters that links to the biology of the human body. Okay, and I've been writing this book since 2015, and I've edited several times. I stopped counting around 2021. Okay, I've been editing it for so long. So I just, and the reason why it's a very important message to give this book in YouTube is for people to it's to expand from where, of course, you're allowed to plagiarize me. You're allowed also to expand, from where I started off, and then continue on to expand this book. And it's very important because if you notice, there's a lot of mass shooters, serial killers. Actually, as a matter of fact, the mass shooters, they look like they're the same breed as the serial killers or serial killer rapists. These most of them are they're all men. 100% are a man. Okay, the serial killers. They come from certain countries, not notably United States, Canada, United Kingdom, and also these three countries: Australia, New Zealand, and probably France and Italy, but probably France is it's, I would say, moderately and very moderately Italy and Spain and Portugal. Okay, but it's mostly the United States, Canada, United Kingdom, Australia, New Zealand, and France. Okay, Germany, I'm leaving them out for now. Okay. And the mass shooters, they go and they try to kill as many people as possible. But what my worry is what if one of these people have the means, have the capacity to blow up the planet because they're so miserable. and they're suffering. So, anyways, my book is a solution or a suggestion of a solution on how to erase rape and how to make sure that that doesn't happen. Okay, and so I'm gonna read the whole book, the whole book, which is not long. It's only 11 pages. Okay, the book itself, what I've written is only 11 pages, and 2/3 of the book is actually scientific references, experimental reports, study reports on the human body, like for example hormones, osteoporosis. Those are examples I'm talking about, and also the anatomy, physiology, puberty, and also nutrition, and plant molecules and meat molecules. Okay, so I'm going to start reading. Okay, now what am I doing? Okay, so the book, despite the fact the book is so small, it's separated in two books. It's separated in two parts, okay? And the first part is why do men rape, okay? The third force comes from fathers, mothers, aunts, and uncles. They push boys to have sex with girls so to prove to the family and to all humans that they are a good catch. The second force comes from Western biologists and psychologists. They say in their books and in school, testosterone makes men become natural sex maniacs. Testosterone makes men naturally desire women's bodies. If a man does not have any testosterone, he will be suicidal. If a man cannot have an erection, he will be suicidal. If a man does not have an interest in women's ass, he is suicidal or dead. Biologists say in their class books, you little boys, when you reach 13, your body will make lots of testosterone, and all of a sudden, when you see pretty girls, you would not be able to stop yourselves from desiring their bodies. Sometimes a pretty little women, sexologists say on a television platform, in France especially, you boys, if you have not made love to a girl during your young life, you have wasted your life. You didn't live. One example is the French people being taken by the principles of Sigmund Freud. That sex is a vitamin and that women envy man's penis. Colette Chilin wrote in one of her books. Colette Chilin is a French psychiatrist. How dare men who want to feminize their body subject male psychiatrists to their primal fear of losing their penis as when they were 7 years old. When I read that, I was like, gasp. I said, she's a psychiatrist. She should know like that. She wrote that like around 2001. Numerous white Frenchmen who had a vaginoplasty committed suicide. The existence of asexual terrifies the people listed on top. The fears uttered by the people on top instill an intense desire for women's body. Inside the mind of boys. It is the same procedure that Adolf Hitler used to transform young blonde boys into mass shooters. When I took conscious that two aunts and a friend were pushing me to harass girls for sex, my libido scrambled out of the window. I was free at 29. Okay, so there's one thing that Sigmund Freud got it right, is that when you go to therapy or psychotherapy, it does change, it does format, it does change your neurons, okay? And that's the same thing, okay? The brainwashing, what Adolf Hitler himself and also his sociologists and biologists have done, they instill fear into, especially young boys in Germany, instill fear about the Marxists and the Jews. Okay, so they instill an emotion, which is fear of the Jews and also the Marxists and the Slavs. Okay, and it's the same thing with sociologists and biologists. Sociologists are, I said psychologists, but sociologists are the sociologues, the psychologists, sexologists, and also maybe the politicians in it, the philosophers, and also the biologists are the psychiatrists, the generalists, the endocrinologists, the dermatologists, ecologists, even nutritionists, biologists, nutritionists, ecologists, and anthropologists, and all the others. Okay, and or organic chemistry. So they're all together. Okay, and also we can't compare the third force. That's the second force. The reason why it's a very powerful force coming from the sociologists and the biologists, because they came from university, and we have a lot of high regards towards them. They're Druids, as we can see, as we believe, and they have the secrets of the universe, the secrets of who we are, the secrets of all living beings. Okay, supposedly. So whatever they say, whatever even theories or hypotheses, we're gonna believe them like 100%. Okay, so there is like a format or brainwashing action towards in our brains, and that will instill, especially to people, to boys or men who already are attracted, who already love femininity. They already think that women are pretty. They already have that emotion, but it will 10 times or 100 times or 1,000 times that emotion. It will multiply that emotion 100 times, 1,000 times, whatever. Okay, so this is why it's a very powerful. It's the same thing. People about during Nazi Germany after the First World War, they already have like a feeling. Okay, we got backstabbed, by somebody, the bankers, or the Slavs, the Marxists, the communists, especially. So it's already there, and Adolf Hitler and his friends they multiplied that with their fantastic rhetoric by 100 to 1,000 times. Okay, the first and strongest force, which is the force I'm talking about, that's already there, that pushes boys to rape women, is that they love femininity and that they want to be also, but they are too virile, well, that's what they think, or too ugly, that's what they think. So they rape women to be them during that moment. Okay. Now the rationale behind to be them, meaning is that if they can't, like, I'm not saying everything about what's going on, about chastity, also what the second wave feminists starting, and also what the biologists, the sociologists and biologists said, that men love sex, women do not like sex. And then the second wave feminists actually enforce that. Plus they brainwash women of not liking femininity, which is like passivism and also eroticism of the female body, like wearing dresses, skirts or shorts when your legs are nude. Okay, and also the second wave feminists started to promote like a separation between men and women, saying that men are evil. If you show your legs, if you show too much femininity, that's what they want. They don't deserve it, and besides, we're gonna appear weak, and also we won't. We'll show. If we wear that, we won't be able to do math. okay, or science or physics, okay. Now I continue. There are several types of rapes, and not all are direct nor penetrative, from soft to hard rapes. Anglo-Saxon men rape violently women, but they rape less compared to French men. Anglo-Saxon boys are raised to be affirmative. They are more educated. This is why they rape less. But they are more violent. But they rape more violently because they are not lazy compared to the French, because of Germanic descent. Okay. But they rape. Okay, their culture. But they rape more violently because they are not lazy compared to the French. Okay, their culture is full of violence. You know, like i.e. A lot of their comic books, Marvel, DC Comics, and then Hollywood. And also there's a lot of strong violent films among the Germans too. Okay, which, you know, the Anglo-Saxon is a German. They have a German culture base. Okay. Their culture is full. French men rape softly women simply by tiring women with their insistence for sex, and they use their weight to arrive at their destination. But they do not use their fists or weapons. French mothers and fathers raise their boys not to be affirmative. Okay, like for example, like I've noticed that among the French mothers, they seem, you know, to psychologically castrate their. I mean, they want a virile man. They want a man. They want their son to be virile. They want their son. They want their 4 other girls for their wives or other girls they're gonna meet. They want their son to be ready for them, but at the same time, they instill kind of like a fear of violence, kind of like a obedience, and you know, the French act macho, but they don't go beyond towards blood or anything like that. They're not. It's not like the other man of other ethnicity. And it seems that French mothers have placed a self-destruct button on inside their sons. So if things go all wrong when they meet when their son meet a girl, which the French women have like an akin towards other girls or other women, is that the other girls or other women have a means to press on the self-destructive button of a French man. Okay, especially the white French men with dark brown hair, the Gaulois. I'll come up to that. I'll explain that in a few minutes. Sex is a vitamin for the French. Sex is part of the French culture. They have more rapes in their society, but their rapes are soft. That's because the mothers have raised them to be very heterosexual. They leer, stalk, and watch porn. These are the soft rapes. That's because the sexologists say that, you know, masturbation and be interested in women's ass is very, very healthy. Okay, that's I read their stuff. They rape women with their eyes to assure themselves that women still love to wear skirts and dresses where their legs are nude. They want to still believe this, that women are still feminine and pacific. They didn't take it well when all women started to wear pants in 1967, because wearing pants is being macho, is being unfeminine, and also is being asexual. And same time, if you have like a very molding genes, you're showing your femininity at the same time, which is saying, well, and if a man or a boy or a man prefer to look like a woman, there's kind of like multiply their jealousy or their envy towards women. Okay, and since 1967, that's a push by the second wave feminists. The very rare women who wear dresses, skirts, shorts, where their legs are nude, they lure, they stalk these pretty women to engrave their image into their brain, so they could still believe that women are still erotic and pacific. Like French comic book artists draw women in dresses with their legs, where their legs are nude, women they love or want to be. These artists do the sophist rape. Drawing comic books and transitioning to femininity are solutions that boys came to for not raping women. Okay, 100% of rapists are men who love femininity. I'm talking about soft rapes. Leering, stalking, watching porn, smelling women, and touching women without their consent. 0.1% of rapists are homosexual men. 0.1% of rapists are homosexual women. 0.1% of rapists are heterosexual women. They say that there is one, so for example, that is one heterosexual woman, for example, that is one heterosexual woman rapist for every 1,000 rapists. The same explanation. Okay, I might as well. That's a mistake I made. Okay, the same explanation goes for homosexual men and homosexual women. I have rounded to 100%. That's why I say 100% of rapists are men who love femininity. As a matter of fact, I've read an article, in a French article, stating that there's a good chance that most rapists who rape men and boys are actually heterosexual men. Okay, the reason why it seems that they're doing a self-empowerment in front of kind of like a in French it's called a pied de nez. A raspberry. They're doing like a pied de nez is like a raspberry in English, meaning that they're doing a raspberry to women, saying, you see, man can be desirable. Okay, it's like a self-empowerment. Despite the fact they're raping other men, it's like a self-empowerment they're doing. Okay, that's the impression I got. As a matter of fact, there's no data. I didn't see any data, but when I read a lot of the asexual, the transsexual forums in French, from France, asexual from France, and also homosexuals, like most of the obnoxious, not exactly homophobic, but how to say, leering or bothersome messages came from heterosexual men, okay, or like depraved messages came from heterosexual men. So that's why, like I started coming to that conclusion. Okay. Now, next section. Psychiatrist refuses hormones to white boys with dark brown hair. Here's the problem. Anglo-Saxon men psychiatrists have heard the French definition of a man. Okay. What is a man? A Frenchman of low class, the sex maniac Frenchman with dark brown hair. Anglo-Saxon men say that non-noble or poor Frenchmen cannot become women, so they refuse young Gaulish boys, feminine hormones. The noble Frankish men have defined white men with dark brown hair as sexist perverts that force their women to show their legs. These Frankish psychiatrists declare that white male peasants or unskilled workers do not have the right to learn science nor mathematics because they do not have the soul. The Gaulish men are not nobles, and they are ugly. Let's continue. The Gaulish men are not nobles, and they are ugly, soul and body. Thus, the Frankish men psychiatrists refuse these boys feminine hormones. Too few Gaulish men are from nobility. So there are a few Gaulish men who are or a noble family. Okay, just like the time before the Romans, Julius Caesar. Okay, the few who are doctors refuse feminine hormones to the ones who are poor. The Romans have killed 1/3 of the noble Gauls. 1/3 of them were spread out through the empire, and the last third mixed with the Frankish and other Germanic nobles, and also peasant nobles, Germanic peasants. And they were still seen as nobles because the Germanic people are seen as exotic. Okay, exotics have like special privilege, just like the nobles have special privilege in France, in Gaul, or the French kingdom. How the serf mentality came to the Frenchmen. How the serf mentality came. Okay, hopefully that's gonna work. Okay, how the serf mentality came to the Frenchmen. Frenchmen see themselves ugly. They are raised to be ugly, and they are raised to be repulsed by each other's face. For example, like the mothers want their sons to be, most French mothers want their son to be heterosexual, the fathers also, and the whole French society and the whole Gaulois society, whatever, whatever components you're seeing. Okay, the Frenchmen believe that fetus attracts appropriate souls. A fetus of a lion attracts a strong soul. A fetus of a girl attracts a soul that is pretty. A fetus of a Druid attracts a soul that knows the secrets of the universe. A fetus of a soft Chinese girl attracts a soul that is gracile. A fetus of a noble attracts a soul that is noble and grace and probably gracile. A fetus of a woman attracts a soul that is pretty and motherly. A fetus of a man attracts a soul that is brave and protecting. Okay, other man, exotic man, and noble man. A fetus of a Jew attracts a soul, a Jewish man, especially, or a woman, a Jew. A fetus of a Jew attracts a soul that is good with money or good with physics. A fetus of a Frenchman, serfs, peasant, attracts a soul that is ugly, cowardly, stupid, and a sex maniac, and a wimp. That's like saying that there's a meme coming from the Gaulois and the French, and also the French culture, that says the women species is the pretty sex, and so therefore the man species is the ugly sex, or the undesirable sex, or women's species is the desirable sex. That's what it comes up. Of course, there's man species is the strong sex that comes in, but they don't, and also they also say women's species is the weak sex, but for some reason they forget to say that man species is the ugly sex, or the undesirable sex. French white trans women are also white French men with dark brown hair. They have been raised the same way. They find their own brothers ugly. They are terrified that a French guy will become a pretty woman by simply taking feminine hormones. They fear that these guys will stink up the women population. To stop this, they spread fears about that feminine hormones are poisonous to man. They say that a man cannot live without making love to women. Why French man with dark brown? They say that a man cannot live without making love to women. They say that isoflavones do not protect the brain as estrogens do, or bioidentical estrogen. They lie. These isoflavones, which are phytoestrogen in soybeans and some other legumes or fruits, Uh, the isoflavones can link with estrogen receptors and produce by almost like 100% equally as the 17 beta estradiol, and it will produce by 20%, 19% it will activate the gene. Vitamins are like isoflavones and lignans. They say that male pattern baldness is irreversible. They lie. I have seen hair regrowth and multi degrees on people after they place their testosterone down. They say that only laser and electrolysis treatments are definitive. They lie. These treatments age rapidly the skin. Only putting down testosterone stops virile hair growth. Plus, waxing off changes the hair into duvet faster. Yeah. Okay. The the anti-androgen like Androcure and spironolactone are being produced to block the synthesis of androgens inside girls. So the girls, if they have like a male pattern baldness and also hairiness, the hairiness will disappear and their hair will regrow. Okay, so it don't particularly just that, and also when you're waxing it off, it goes faster, because if you only take an anti-androgen, you have no testosterone, but the hair, the large hair, facial hair that you have on inside your skin might be staying, despite that it's dead, doesn't grow anymore, might stay there for about 20 years, okay, before dropping off. Okay, they know that 90% cannot pay for these treatments. This is why we see the majority of white French trans women with a shadow of a beard. They send all white French boys and French Canadian boys who want to feminize their body to see psychiatrists by saying they are experts, university people. They are Druids. They are the only ones who could tell you if you are a real trans. They know that these psychiatrists will violently refuse them. White French trans women with dark brown hair are gangrene with negative lies. They are les grandes menteuses. The worst, they believe these lies. It is possible that these lies come from psychiatrists. This is the reason that very few look like women. They want to stop their brothers to feminize their body because they are terrified that their brothers will stink up the women's species. We have to know that the white French trans women population is gangrene with trolls and imbeciles. Some of these individuals are 185 centimeters with a strong face. They only shave their beard. They wear a wig. They are plus 30. They have a long penis. They wear a mini dress where their long penis does peekaboo under the edge of their dress. These guys walk like this on the street of France in the morning when everybody goes to work. They want to excite the population. These guys are very stupid. Maybe because of an intense distress that they are born in the wrong body, or that they are in need of femininity or sex. These tall idiots don't have conscience that they are trolls. Other trolls, almost 100% white, put on a wig, a mini dress, and lots of makeup. They only shave and they go see a judge for him to declare them human females. And then they go where women change or where women find refuge. These trolls are inciting the human population to do a holocaust against boys who look like women or against boys who feminize their body. They think that the danger of a holocaust will discourage all boys to feminize their body, or that it will push some to mutilate their face. The last type of trolls, and they do not have conscience that these trolls are sorrowed that white men with dark brown hair are described as violent, ugly sex maniacs in novels, comic books, feminist writing, and in corporate media. These trolls are heterosexual. They put on a small dress. They put too much makeup on their face. They are plus 40. They put a wig because they do not want to grow their hair, or because they are bald. They don't want feminine hormones. They walk like this on the street. They tell all boys that they could wear these pretty dresses without taking feminine hormones. These trolls want to show women that hairy, bald guys can be pretty in dresses. These white middle-aged men recite the same lies, discouraging boys to raise their virility, forcing them to do this act of self-empowerment. Okay, so I believe in liberty with our own body. Virile men are free to wear dresses and put gobs of makeups, but lying brings despair and then violence. A lot of boys prefer to look physically like girls. Okay, not necessarily identify or want to be officialized as women. Not necessarily, but they don't want male pattern baldness. They don't want hairiness. They don't want the big huge belly or whatever. Okay, they want to look cool. They want to look gracile. Okay, if these boys don't have the right nor the means of looking like girls, they will rape girls to acquire momentarily their femininity because they don't have a body. This reminds me. This part. Actually, rapes remind me of the body snatchers. Several alien species body snatchers written by H.P. Lovecraft and various other sci-fi writers. Okay, and basically the aliens, they either body snatch because they don't have a body, their planet has exploded, or simply they want to travel from planet to planet and acquire knowledge. Okay. And the other body, the body snatcher on Earth, well, they just don't like their body. They like femininity, they don't have it. They don't have them on their body. They want to smell women, so to imagine that they're women, to transpose their mind, their soul into the women that they're raping or that they're leering at. If these bones, okay, so this is why I push for all boys can freely buy feminine hormones. Okay, white French and French Canadian guys are the only ones in the world that see psychiatrists touched by God, that they are super intelligent. They only see Anglo-Saxon, Frankish, and Jewish men or noble men as such, or exotic men as such. Exotic meaning Africans, Asians, and also First Americans. Okay. They are pathologically sexist against women. These French guys spread the lie. White men psychiatrists know us better than we do. Their sexism and disbelief are proofs that they are not women. Women Women know the abuse they endured by white men doctors for 500 years. Women are not blind to their lies. Women are more intelligent on average than men because women have a predominance of 17 beta-estrogens and because more women are vegetarian. Okay, testosterone concentrates more to renew cells in the thalamus, and meat promotes stressful molecules that bogs down the brain. 17 beta-estrogen promotes repairs in the high brain. Okay, men do have like 17 beta-estrogen. It depends. There's like 17 alpha-estrogen also that goes into the brain, which most of the time testosterone changes into that hormone. But there are much more, like twice as many as I've seen. When I seen the data from certain experiment or scientific reports, that there are more beta receptors in the brain than the alpha receptors. Also, white French men with dark brown hair auto-police themselves to stop each other to go to university to learn math and science. Okay, when they see one of their little guys that goes into science, he's smart. Basically, they beat him up. Okay, to learn math and science. They have been conditioned by their fathers to see themselves as peasant brutes and imbeciles. Their fathers told them they only exist to serve the landlords, the nobles, and the rich men. White French trans women are also white French boys with dark brown hair. They also auto-police themselves to not learn mathematics and science. They negate all their trans sisters who actually learn biology because they get pissed off. Because they shouldn't have said it. This is how. I'm just curious. Okay, still how the serf mentality started into the French mind. When one of us learns physiology or biology, they get of the human body, they get extremely angry and call forth a ban. They absolutely do not believe they, the peasant Gauls, have the hereditary to understand the secrets of the universe. I have grouped all their lies I read in forums and heard in meetings into 5 template phrases, or 5 template lies. Only psychiatrists experts on transsexuality know what we really want. Secondary viral traits cannot be erased by taking an anti-androgen anti-androgen natural nor non-natural, nor by becoming vegetarian. Women's natural estrogens are poisonous to man. Heterosexual biological man cannot live without desiring women's ass. Heterosexual biological man cannot live without rigidly penetrating women. They ordered them to freeze their brothers from feminizing their body. The irony is that white men psychiatrists laugh about their face. They kindly give testosterone to young girls of every race or country, or every race or ethnicity. Every race and ethnicity. Trans boys start young. They kindly give feminine hormones to young Africans, blonde Nordiques, Asians, and First Americans. These trans girls transition young, but they violently refuse young French boys because they see them ugly in soul and body. White heterosexual man psychiatrists see blonde Alamy, or German, boys pretty with a noble soul. These boys have fine features. These boys have the right to go to university because coming from a noble family or a rich one. They have the right to be intelligent, so they have the right to be women. White heterosexual men psychiatrists see exotic boys, African, Asian, and First Americans, beautiful. Therefore, the potentiality to be women. They have the right to be intelligent because their soul is universal. That means it can be they can be anything. They can be a horse, a dragon, a ghoul, or whatever, or a noble, a woman, a man, whatever. Okay. Therefore, they have the right to be women. Franks and Gauls believe that the Jews have been touched by God or by Satan, depends. Therefore, Jews have a universal soul and they have the right to learn mathematics and science. Women of all people have been liberated from serfdom by feminism in 1967. They have the right to wear jeans. They are physiologically pretty. They are seen as having a gracile and universal soul. So all see that they have the right and the capacity to learn mathematics and science. And they do learn. There are more girls who go to university to learn science than white French boys with dark brown hair. No, it is true. Gaulish men are ugly because they are disproportionate. Chin curves ahead a lot. Nose abnormally too long. Hands too long. Feet too long. too tall, bones too wide in diameter. This is because of their only meat diet with wine, and that our nose and chin do not stop growing compared to other races. 50% of Gauls have a melanin that amplifies ultraviolet. Therefore, our skin wins more deep mislaid cells compared to other people. These traits do not help us win the right to have feminine hormones. About the melanin that promotes, that amplifies the ultraviolet, I think I've written. It comes from a book written by a German women dermatologists. German women dermatologists, if I could find it. Okay, I think it's in the beginning. I'll have to buy this book. I read it from the library. Okay, for the moment, I can't find that reference of this book. But eventually, I like to read where she got her information. But she's a dermatologist and an endocrinologist at the same time. Okay, I think she's an endocrinologist. I can't remember her name and the name of her book. Okay, this shame about themselves makes almost no white French and no French Canadian boys asking for hormones. They anticipate the violence of their fathers, they anticipate the violence of guys walking the street, and they anticipate the verbal violence of psychiatrists. So very few have the courage to ask. These are why that the majority start when they are old. Most declare themselves women by anger. They have suffered for decades till they could not take it anymore. But most feminize nothing of their body by anger and because blocked by psychiatrists and because they are terrified of not having testosterone in their body. The French caste developed around 22,000 years ago at the start of the Gauls. Small prehistoric Gaulish nomads throughout the center of Europe, sandwiched by Neanderthals in the north and Semites in the south, separated their children by marriage. The handsome ones were married to the handsome ones, and the ugly ones were married to the ugly ones. Handsome traits were tall, thin, and strong. The ugly traits were short, stocky, bellied, and weak. The Gauls separated their family with nation by hair color and nose shape. The handsome had golden hair or reddish hair, with a thin nose or a small flatter nose, and the ugly ones had dark brown hair and a very long crooked nose going downward, just like a witch. Further millenniums later, the Gaulish parents said to their children, "We just got a great idea. We will separate our society into three parts. The non-gracile ones will work in the field, the gracile ones will be warriors, and the mysterious ones will be scientists." Some sages were non-Gauls. The Gaulish parents have created four races from one: the golden Gauls, the red Gauls, the, the mysterious white Gauls, and the dark brown Gauls, but by their hair color. The parents specified to their children that the four castes were done by the Creator because, or the logic of the universe, because of the souls that it placed in the embryos. The young Gauls believe that this principle till today. This is why they fear that one of them will become gracile or a pretty woman, because they believe that their soul would still have the image of the dark brown Gaulish male. Sex traits transitions started as soon the Germans found sex hormones in 1890. And they found out that the body is malleable, as the Chinese did at the same time, and as they remembered about their imperial eunuchs. The French transsexuals found out about the hormones in 1935 when Dr. Magnus Hirschfeld moved to Paris. So they had started to buy freely these hormones in pharmacies. They were sold without prescription. At first, only nobles or bourgeois males started to feminize their body, and the poor or non-nobles males started to buy them from 1950. As soon French sexologists, psychologists, and psychiatrists have seen that the dark brown haired Gaulish males were buying sex hormones and their bodies were becoming gracile and noble, they freaked out. So they set out to convince the government to impose a prescription to buy these hormones and to channel all transsexuals to have evaluation before they could issue to some the right to have these aesthetic hormones. That's in 1972. At that moment, sexologists, psychologists, and psychiatrists threw the male transsexual in conflict with biological women feminists. They block these males from having the feminizing hormones, and they tell them they can't be women without taking them, and they are allowed to wear these pretty dresses or skirts. These men so much want to be women that they go into women's spaces to be further validated. Now, I don't know about the Gaulish time, but during the Dark Ages and the Middle Ages, right up to the Renaissance, especially the Dark Ages and the Middle Ages, and part of the Renaissance, the beginning of the Renaissance. Okay, in the French kingdom, serfs and peasants or non-nobles, or in French it's called roturiers, they weren't allowed to learn math, nor they weren't allowed to know how to read, write, and know math or science, nor science. If they do, they get burnt into a stake, because they say, well, you don't have the hereditary to do it. You don't have the genes to learn math, to learn science. So if you learned it, that means you made a pact with the devil. So they burn them to a stake. Okay, so now this is the end of the first part of the book. Okay, now it's the first action. Now it's how to erase rape throughout the world. The first action to eradicate rape. Okay, cancel the conclusion of biologists and psychologists. Cancel the conclusion of biologists and psychologists in front of your boys by telling your boys sex is not a vitamin. Sex is not a necessity. It is mathematically impossible to find a very beautiful woman who is also attracted to you. It is mathematically impossible that two people will want sex equally at the same time. More girls want to be free to study mathematics and science in university. More girls do not want to marry with somebody and be subjected to matrimonial sex. Girls who have sex freely with any man are seen as sluts by everybody. All these place the probability of finding a girl for marriage or for sex to almost zero. So boys have to step down from sexuality, girls have to step down or take it with a grain of salt, or just be worried that it will cause problems. Okay, it's if most couples don't have this, the same incident time power of desire to the other ones, it will cause problem at the long run. These explanations will cancel boys' libido because libido is only social. Making babies will have to be renegotiated by women throughout the world. Everybody have to drop sex with one or more persons because it is never equal in desire. Okay, you're finished. Okay. The second action to eradicate rape: raise your boys almost vegetarian, not completely. I mean, you can give them a bit of meat and stuff like that, but don't do like the French. Don't do like especially the French. Pork and beef shoot way up testosterone in their body during puberty, therefore forming them with virile and even deforming their bodies like too big. These food have too much proteins. Proteins are building blocks, and the intestine calls forth a lot of testosterone and growth factors, so they place these building blocks at a masculine form. Frenchmen are the most virile people on earth. Frenchmen are the most angular people on earth. Frenchmen are the most disproportionate people than any people on earth. They have a big nose curved downward. They have a big Adam's apple. Their face is too long for their body. Their arms are too long for their body. Their hands and feet are too long for their body. They have the largest penis compared to other people. The ones who love femininity cry because it is hard to tuck their penis between their asses when they want to be women. They have the highest testosterone concentration compared to other people, probably at average of 8.50 nanograms per milliliter. Testosterone thickens their skin on their face, therefore increasing the size of the pores and making their skin whole and uneven. Creases caused by missed cells growth are deeper when the skin is thick. Not pretty. Frenchmen pass their sisters in height by 15 centimeters. The average difference in height between men and women is 7 centimeters around the world. Frenchmen are genetically not supposed to be tall. Therefore, the synthetic growth factors in pork and beef have abnormally grown them. This is also due that French parents overfed their sons with pork and beef so their sons could look like the Hulk, so they could easily get a wife. Easily get a wife. They suffer because they are ugly and disproportionate. And therefore, you women, they look for you. They transpose their soul into your body when they leer or when they smell or when they make love to you because they love femininity. White Americans have an average of 6.86 nanograms per mil of testosterone. Vegetarian boys stay with a feminine body after puberty, which is the basal form of humans. Their skin stays soft. They keep their feminine layers under all of their skin, so less fat goes around the liver. Their nose and throat apples stay small, and their bones stay the feminine volume. Being vegetarian and isoflavones in fruits, or phytoestrogen in fruits, normalize the testosterone at 4.05 nanograms per mil, which is healthy. The Japanese have an average of 4.5 nanograms per mil. Africans and Chinese have an average of 5.05 nanograms per mil. Vitamin E and isoflavones tell the brain in the thalamus stop synthesizing testosterone. Do not forget mothers. 50% of boys prefer to look like girls. If they do not look like girls, they will place their suffering on the backs of your daughters. This is the reason that heterosexual men rape women when they see them wearing a beautiful dress with their legs in nude. These men are just jealous of women's body and sexual liberty. The other 50% love to be men, as in Detective Comics and Marvel Comics. Psychiatrists cherishingly say that homosexual boys are prettier than heterosexual boys. I am talking about the ones who want to become women. At age 3, homosexual boys want to be desired by men, so they eat healthy. Fathers and medical doctors tell boys, if you have to eat lots of red meat, so you will become big and strong. Women like that. Natural hormones for your boys who want to look like girls. Semicolon. All synthetic hormones are to be banned of the following: lupron, spironolactone, dihydrogesterone, chlormazidinone, and ethanol estradiol in primarins. Okay. Endocrinologists gave also, that's because a lot of people are against boys and men to feminize their body will say that will use the bad, how should I say, the bad history of synthetic hormones like ethanol or estradiol, and they'll say, well, if ethanol estradiol is the same thing as the bioidentical estrogen, which is not. Endocrinologists gave large doses of ethanol estradiol to trans women in the 1980s. This shows that ethanol estradiol is weak compared to natural estrogen. Synthetic hormones do not link to all natural receptors. Therefore, boys who want to look like girls will not feminize properly if they take them. 17-beta estradiol hemihydrated on patches of the trademark Sendos and Estradot is identical to the human hormones. Biologists have glued a water molecule so it can pass through the skin. 17-beta estradiol on patches, Sendos or Estradot, lowers testosterone even at 0.20 nanograms per mil. I shouldn't have. Actually, it'll take 5 years for that to go down there. In about just a month, it will lower by 19%. If you have like 9 nanograms per mil, the estrogen of testosterone, the estrogen will bring it down. The natural estrogen will bring it down to maybe 7.75 or something, by 19%. But in the long run, it'll probably bring it down to female, to women's level. Even a concentration of 4.50 nanograms per mil regresses virile traits when vegetarian. These hormones add to the breasts, reestablish the feminine fat under all the skin, and might increase the pubic bone opening. Only micronized progesterone of Prometrium in Canada are natural. Progesterone in gel are also natural. I'm not too sure about that. Natural progesterone rounds up. When I say natural, is the bioidentical, the same structure as the women's progesterone or estrogen. Natural progesterone rounds up breast and feminizes the hip bones. But 17-beta estradiol could do this, but I suspect that progesterone feminizes certain part of the body that estrogen do not. That's to be seen. Nevertheless, trans women can take only 17-beta estradiol on patches for her transition. So all trans feminine or trans women, okay, I'll put him in the umbrella term. A trans woman will all she needs is patches of 17-beta estradiol. Patches are much better. I think that they're real bioidentical hormone, bioidentical estrogen. I think so. I don't trust the gel that much. I think they're compounded. That means they add a ligand or an atom to the bioidentical hormone. I just don't trust them. The first sale of bioidentical hormones was done in nasal spray for estrogen in 1927. And in 1929, they got the patches out. The patches do work. I got the big patches, and they stay. If you put them well, and also I use a plaster for smaller patches. But the big patches stay long. They could stay for about a week, 2 weeks, a month. Okay, with a plaster, it could stay 1 month to 2 months. Okay, so they do work. Okay, nevertheless, trans women can take only on patch. Okay, so. Okay, last page. These hormones are safe as vitamins, okay, because they are natural. There are also diogenin, which look like progesterone and has a 1% of the strength of the letter. Meaning 1%, that means it will activate a progesterone receptor. It will activate a progesterone gene, okay, therefore a feminizing gene. I should also specify that isoflavones and lignans from fruits look like estrogen. They also look like vitamins too, like vitamin E, vitamin D, and vitamin C, I think. I should also all fruit molecules are safe for us because we evolved from eating fruits. The only since like 600 million years ago. The only unnatural hormone that man could take and buy freely in pharmacies are Angicure. That is because Angicure is, despite the fact that there's a lot of whining in France, okay, and in Quebec about Angicure, but I think it's their own prejudice against, what I've mentioned in the first book, okay, and it's a relatively safe molecule. I mean, it does. Out of like 100 million people who took it, it killed one person, 71 man, 72 years old, by destroying his. I don't think it killed him, but it just caused a toxicity of his liver. But just 1 out of 100 million. Okay, so we don't know. You don't need to take it for 10. Well, for the mingiomas, you don't need to take it for more than 5, 10, 20 years. You can only take it for about 1 year because it will drop your testosterone, and at the same time it will break the hold of testosterone that has on your body and on your genes. Okay, so and eventually the 17 beta estradiol on patches, or the 16 beta westrone on patches or the phytoestrogen, lignans and isoflavones will keep the testosterone low enough, but high enough to have some beneficial for the brain and also some of the tissues like the bones. Okay. But also these hormones, these phytoestrogen and these natural estrogens will keep up your brain, and your bones. Those are the biggest thing. Okay, this androgen is the most efficient and is relatively safe for 99.99% of the population. A French nurse mentioned recently that only in France people complain about this molecule. Okay. Now, this is the end of the books, and after that, there's like others observation right here. Okay, others observation meaning scientific source. So I've read, it's about 160 books and scientific reports or experimental reports, and I look at the data, and I've been like several times. Like sometimes like twice, 3 times, 5 times, just even 10, 11, one of them. Methods. Okay, and here the way I got the data. This is the way I got the data. Like I said, I've been collecting data, reading other people's data since 1986, and myself I've been collecting data, since 2001, with photos of trans women to see, yes, a boy, a man could look like a woman, look like a biological woman. Okay. And the method to arrive on a conclusion, my suggestion. There are conclusions, but it can be. I mean, you can plagiarize me. You're allowed to. You're allowed to use my suggestions, my conclusion as a trampling platform, and evolve from there. Okay, methods. To arrive at my analysis, I went to the sites of datawav. Why did I didn't put it. Okay, I forgot two things. Unsplash. Okay. To arrive at my analysis, I went to the sites of datawav, Unsplash, Shutterstock, dreamstime, Alamy, Getty's image, Dunautregenre, transidentité du Doctissimo, on YouTube, several Japanese sites such as tsbook.fc2web.com, okay, and all other sites where I type trans women on the search bar. Datawav started as a porn site, but eventually added people's photo with some tinge of social politics. I have typed trans women in several languages on YouTube's search bar. I haven't done that yet, but I'll do another video, and that's what I do. I've done it, of course, I've done it, but I didn't organize my my data that much. But I'll do a video and I'll organize it. I'll do a video showing me getting the data from YouTube. I have typed trans women in several languages on YouTube's search bar. I look for the smoothness of their skin, their real full set of hair, the wideness of their hip bones, if they are vegetarian, at what age they got the hormones, or how long it took them to get them, and if they are accessible in their country. A successful transition my laptop. Or accessible. My laptop corrected in French. I mean, writing in English, but it's on the French mode, unfortunately. Transition is when they have smooth skin, a full set of hair. Okay, a successful transition is when they have smooth skin, a full set of hair, and if they have a feminine silhouette where their hips are wide and no belly and no large neck. To assess the intelligence and the competitivity of the trans women and the accessibility of their hormones, plus their success of their transition in their country, I look for if they are the great majority who have acquired the above mentioned traits. I'm going to erase that. It's redundant. Okay. I have collected around 10,000 photos of dressed or nude trans women with only white lighting, no red lights, nor red clothing, all white or black or blue jeans clothing. Okay. Okay, so now I'm going to be showing photos, what I got, all the data. Okay. This is done. Now let's see if I can. Okay, now let's see here. Okay, this is I separated the data into, okay, I will separate the photos of trans women, okay, into 8 country, I think, 1, 2, or country blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 country blocks, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 6 state of their traits. Okay, if they're or state of success of their transition, and also state of their traits. Okay, the country are United States and Canada put together, Quebec, France, Latin America, Japan, Saudi Arabia, and China and Korea. Trans women state of success or state of their traits, and also their state of success of transition. Pretty, and in brackets will be either they're pretty because they're either being vegetarian or they didn't eat that much meat. Pretty but too much cake. Okay, cake, pastries, cake will feminize you, will make you fat, but will give you a very genoid. The sugar stuff will increase your estrogen in your body, either like the 17 alpha estradiol or the 17 beta estradiol, and the other estrogen like 16 beta westrone, and there's the westrol. Okay, but it will give you a very plump, petite. If you start eating lots of cake, not that much meat. When you start eating like maybe at 3 years old, you're gonna be plump and petite with large breasts. Especially if you're a girl or a woman, and you end up like 15 years old, 4'11", 5 feet or 151 centimeters, and with large breasts and wide hips and a big cushion of third layer of fat under your skin, all over. The other one's too much pork. Ate too much pork. Ate too much beef. Ate too much pork. A boy that eats too much beef will be very tall, skinny. Skinny meaning that he has no third layer of fat under his skin, and he'll be hairy, but he will have a full set of hair, or he will be half bald, but he'll never be completely bald, and he'll be completely hairy, and also he'll be very lanky, tall, lanky, bones huge, no fat at all, muscles. That depends. His muscles will be wiry, not exactly big, but wiry. Ate too much pork. There's a certain type of feminization, but also hypermasculinization at the same time. The reason why is because pork has a lot of proteins and lots of glycogen and lots of fat. When you eat lots of fat, your body has no choice of producing lots of cholesterol, and cholesterol is a precursor of the sex hormones. Okay, so there's no. And when you eat too much pork, you will be fat. You might have a very thick third feminine layer on your skin, inside your under your skin, and you'll have man boobs, and you'll have the big huge belly. Of course, everything. It depends. Also, it depends when you start eating a lot of pork, and also if you eat a lot of pastries and cake. Okay, and you won't have any body hair, but you'll be bald. If you have the gene for male pattern baldness, what it does, it multiplies the testosterone effect on the male pattern, on the alleles of male pattern baldness about 10 to 100 times. So you'll be bald, hairy, no body hair, big, small penis, and big bones probably. I'm not sure. You'll be like, basically you'll have the secondary sex characteristic, either female or male, that nobody wants. Nah, or I would say 80% of the people don't want. Okay, now there's a wimp in front of psychologists. That's one reason why your transition. That's a third reason why your transition is fucked up. A bad artist. Bad artist meaning, okay, you do the first three. Also, you didn't avoid the sun. You probably drink a lot of alcohol. You don't know what to wear. You wear shitty stuff. in the wrong time, you're just a bad artist. Okay. Now I'm gonna separate, who's trans, or the trans feminine, or the trans woman. Okay. I've mentioned the trolls and the imbeciles before. The imbeciles are actually true trans women. They really, really want to become, either they want to, most of them want to be officialized trans women, the imbeciles. You have the trolls, they don't want to be officialized, they're not trans women. They just want, and they don't want to become women. They like to be men, except they want to push the population to do a holocaust against boys and men who want to feminize their body. Okay, so those people are out. The trolls and the imbeciles are a little bit in. So the imbeciles would be there. Would be the wimp in front of the psychologists and the bad artists, especially the wimp in front of the psychologist. Now let's see. Let's separate. The trans women are separated in two groups. You have the transvestite and you have the transsexual women. Okay. The transvestites are separated in two. Okay. You have the masturbatory type, where they wear skirts, feminine women's skirts, women's dresses, women's shorts in their rooms, and they masturbate. Let's separate them in three. Okay, the transvestite, and then you have the artists. Like they use their body as canvas. They put makeup, color. They color their face. They color their body, and also they put clothing that looks like what Marie Antoinette will wear. And like they put, they're basically they're actors. They're artists and they're actors, at the performers at the same time. And you have the third, which is the transgender women, which could be, there's an overlap towards the transsexual women. Okay. And the transgender women, they don't want to take feminine hormones. They don't want to go to the operation, the vaginoplasty. But they want to go out the world, dressed up like that, in women's skirts, dresses, and shorts, high heels, whatever, makeup, and they want to be officialized women. Okay, and then you have the transsexual. So the transsexual is separate in two groups. You have like myself, I say. Just a man who who wants to physically look like a woman, but I don't want to feminize. I don't want to be officially a woman. Okay, so it doesn't bother. Like, I mean, I still consider myself a man. I try to find maybe another word, but man it has different images. Okay, you just have to look at the mangas, Japanese mangas, Chinese mangas, and Korean mangas. There's a lot of effeminate men. There's a lot of masculine men. There's a lot of bears. There's a lot of bears among. Okay. There's a lot of bears. I think I finished here. Okay. There's a lot of bears among them. There's a lot of tuxedo type, James Bond type of men. Okay. Yeah. But and the one, the trans feminine, or the trans feminine trans women, whatever, who don't want to be officialized women, all of them, and also the transsexual women, the pure transsexual women who want to be officialized women, all of them take feminine hormones, women's hormones. Okay, they all take, because they want to look like women. Okay, but some of the trans women who don't want to be officialized women will go to the vaginoplasty, just because they like the the aesthetic of it. Okay. And the true transsexual women who wants to go right up, the second group, which which most of them, all of them are attracted to men, and they just want to be to have a relationship with a man, to be in a relationship with a man naturally, and they go towards the vaginoplasty. There are the first group, the first group of transsexual women. Some of them are attracted to men, but they don't go for vaginoplasty, and they don't want to be officialized women. They don't particularly care. Okay, and here's an example of a man, like in mangas, men who look like women. I was looking for a photo of Elric of Melniboné, and I think that's the closest I got. Okay, and there's here's Morgoth, the black-haired fellow is Morgoth, and the blonde-haired fellow is Sauron. Okay. Sorry, I have bad arthritis, so I have trouble even lifting up things here. Okay, so here's okay, I'm gonna be no, I'm looking for something here. What time is it? 1:26. Oh, maybe it's here. Maybe I have it here. Okay, looks like I lost one important. Okay, I'll be back. Okay, sorry about that. Oh, the arthritis is bad. No, not good. Okay, so this is what I want to show about the height between, okay, like I said, like, I mean, the French, especially the Gaulois or the people from Celtic descent, they're not considered a tall people. The dark brown Celts, okay, dark brown hair Celts, okay. So there's a like a 10, 13. There's like a 10 centimeters different on that side for the French, and here for the French again today, there's like almost like a 15 centimeters, because I've checked in. I like 99% of the trans women are very tall. In France, they're over like 180 centimeters, like 6 feet. Okay, it's ridiculous. Okay, like most men, somebody in France, a man, a Gaulois, okay, which is Celt, they're not supposed to be that tall. It's like some man of 171 centimeters, like 5'8", is considered a midget. They consider that a midget. him a midget, okay, or a dwarf, okay. And I looked at the heights of women, in Wikipedia and also in the UN, their UN roster or whatever, United Nations, and all the other countries has a difference of 7 centimeters, like 3 inches, or 2 inches, which is not like 5 or 10 inches like in France, okay. And there's a good reason, is that French mothers, and especially French mothers especially, they give cake to their daughters so they could be feminine, they could be petite, plump, feminine, and they gave lots of either pork, depending how poor they are, and beef to their sons. So and also beef and pork and beef in France, they put a very aggressive growth hormones in it. So French, so that's why there's a huge difference of height in France. Okay, in Quebec, like the French Canadians are very small compared to the French men or the Gaulois men in France. The Gaulois Canadians here were small. Like I'm pretty small compared to in France. It's like ridiculous. Okay, so this is what I was trying to say. Also, the millennium. I'll check the melanin that like I've seen. I notice that white women with dark brown hair, reddish dark brown hair, especially dark brown hair, not black hair. It's different. They have they have like white skin, but they have black hair. But the ones who have a bit of red in their face, in their skin, but they're white, they're Europeans, especially in southern France. I've seen that in Australian. There's French people in Australian and Canada. They have dark brown hair, and by the time they go to about 30 years old, their skin is all wrinkled. They get wrinkled, and I don't know if I might have that melanin, but I have to check where this endocrinologist, women endocrinologist, got her source to say that. But even when you're in a white room and you're avoiding the sun, just by the fact that the light is bouncing off the white room and it hits your face, it's almost like inevitable. Your skin will age quicker than others people. Okay, so that's it. Now let's get to the data. Okay, let's get to the data. Okay, first. Now I will mention the country of the person and their state of transition, either why they're pretty and why they're bad artists. Okay. Now France. Okay. Too much beef. Too much beef. France. Too much pork. Oh, I forgot to... Okay, France, too much beef, too much pork. Okay, I've done twice. Okay. Too much, too old, a wimp in front of the psychologist. Started too old. Probably bad actor also. Bad artist. Too old. A wimp in front of a psychologist. Oh yeah, when you're too old. A wimp in front of a psychologist is when you're too old. You start your transition too old because you believe their lies, and also you're scared shitless in going to ask them, or you got tossed out of their cabinet violently, verbally violently, and then you decided not to go there, or you believe them. Oh yeah, you went on therapy, you believe their lies, you went on therapy between 2, 5, 10, 20 years. Okay, so there's 2 of them here. Okay, 2 wimps. And there. Okay. Too much pork. Okay. Handsome doesn't. Too much beef. Too much beef. Maybe bad apple. France. All of them that I've showed you is from France. Okay? Out here. Too much beef. A bad artist. Then also maybe too much beef, but bad artist, not good. Not good. Also a wimp in front of a psychologist. France. That one's, all of them are France from, that I showed you are from France. Okay. Bad artists. France, too old. Bad, a wimp in front of a psychologist. United States. Pretty. Vegetarian. China. Pretty. Maybe vegetarian. Not that much. Not that much meat. France. He's wearing a wig. Bad artist, but a wimp in front of a psychologist. Doesn't know, believes the lies of psychologists in France. Oh, 2 United States, Japan, no, China, Korea, and which one is this one? Oh yeah. Wimp in front of a psychologist. Yeah, he's wimpy. France, too much pork, thick skin, maybe too much beef also. Too much pork. Also, he probably has that melanin that ages the skin much quicker. The melanin that amplifies the ultraviolet. France. Too much pork. Okay, I think I mentioned. United States. Pretty. Maybe vegetarian. Or ate not that much meat. I'll put it to 8 vegetarian. I think she is vegetarian. United States. France. Okay, I started young. Not a wimp in front of a psychologist. Pretty. Maybe 8, not that much meat. France. United States. From Playboy. Pretty. Vegetarian. Or 8, not that much meat. Japan. Pretty. Ate not that much meat. I would say even vegetarian. Vegetarian. China. Pretty, both of them. Didn't eat that much meat. China. Two of them. There are two trans women. Oh, I've placed them in the wrong place. Okay. Didn't eat that much meat. I'm not sure about the other ones. Japan. Pretty. Vegetarian. France. Pretty. Didn't eat that much meat. France. Pretty. Vegetarian. France. France. Bad actor. No. Bad artist. But anyways, hiding her face. No, bad artist, but probably just a transvestite. Okay, bad artist. France. Japan. Pretty. Vegetarian. From Japan. Trans woman. Transsexual. She had a vaginoplasty. Whoops. No, it's not it. Japan. France. Use face tap. Bad artist. No. Bad artist. It's lying. Maybe a trans woman or transsexual woman, or maybe a transgender woman. I don't know, or a transvestite. Bad artist using face tap. No good. France. Good artist. The complet is really well chosen. Too much beef. Also, she has the melanin that amplifies. It's not her fault. Amplifies the ultraviolet. Too much beef. Well, this seems okay. Too much beef, but she's not that. Not whole. She's not ugly though. Too much beef. France. France. No, wide shoulders. Too much beef. Also a wimp in front. Well, she didn't shave. She shaved, but she's probably not. She's probably a wimp in front of psychologists. Wide hips, narrow hip. No, wide shoulders, narrow hips. Too much beef. Japan. Just a vegetarian, transgender woman or transvestite, I'm not sure. A transvestite, but Japan, vegetarian. France, pretty, but good artist actually. Okay, but too much pork. She is a little bit. She does have a little bit of belly. Too much pork, unfortunately. China, pretty. Didn't eat. Ate not much meat. Ate not much meat. China. Latin America. Pretty. Didn't eat that much meat. Latin America, didn't eat that much meat. United States. Pretty. Didn't eat that much meat. I would say even vegetarian. I think she's vegetarian. I'm not sure. I'll put vegetarian. Didn't eat that much meat. Or became vegetarian later. United States, vegetarian. Japan. Pretty. Didn't eat that much meat. Good artist too. Real hair. Okay. Speaking of real hair, if you're wearing, it depends why you're. If you're wearing a big, if you have a very masculine, virile, if you're a trans woman, okay, not if you're a transvestite, especially for the masturbatory type, okay. But if you want to be officialized as a woman, but you're only wearing wigs and you're not bald. If you're bald, well, you fucked up. Okay, it's no good. But if you're only wearing a wig, either you want to wear a wig that has like a weird color, green color or purple color or red, that's okay, because you're wearing a wig for the color and for the style and to identify, to get dressed up about somebody else, okay. But if you're wearing a wig and you have like a man's cut, but you're wearing a wig for cowardly reason, because just in case if it goes bad for women, I could revert back to manlyhood. No. But okay, you have to be careful. Okay, if you have very long hair, okay, there are some really bad men out there. Okay, or bad guys. They're not men. They're guys. Okay, and it has happened a few in France, for example, and also they'll rip off if you have long hair. They'll to disfigure you. They'll rip off your hair out of you because they have a fixation of your long hair. If they know you're trans or they think you're a guy, they will, or a man, a boy, they will rip off they will scalp you, they will damage your hair, rip off the hair off your head. Or that's what happened in France. Guys on a bus, a Paris city bus, tried to ignite the hair of a trans woman. So, but don't wear a wig. If just have like short hair, short feminine style hair, that works. Mine is a little bit longish. I think it's a little bit too long. Okay, I don't go out very often, but like it depends where I go. There are some macho out there. Like they could rip off my hair. It's very dangerous for me. Okay, so you have to be careful. Okay. Here's one. China. Pretty, not that much meat. Pretty, not that much meat. China. Japan. Pretty, not that much meat. Quebec, with her daughter. Both of them, too much beef, too much pork, both of them, even the daughter. The daughter has thick skin. Too much pork, both of them, but only one trans woman, the mother, well, her parent. Okay, Quebec, too much pork. France, probably a transvestite. I would just say, well, maybe I don't know if I should call it bad actor, bad actress, bad artist. I would say too much beef and pork, too much beef actually. And also, she has the gene that amplifies the ultraviolet. Her skin is very aged. Prematurely aged. Too much beef. Okay. Japan. Pretty vegetarian. Japan, pretty vegetarian. Okay. France. Pretty. Didn't eat that much meat. France. 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 Too much beef. Also a wimp in front of psychologists. But too much beef. France. Pretty. Became vegetarian, I think. But she's a grand mounteuse. She's very transphobic. That's it, that's all. I don't know. I don't like her messages. I think she's racist against her own kind. Transphobic. Okay, France. Pretty. Became vegetarian. Lied about vegetarianism also. But I think she became vegetarian. France. Pretty. Vegetarian. France. Bad artist. Bad artist, and also I would say bad artist. Also a wimp in front of psychologists. I would say a wimp in front of psychologists. She needs hormones. She probably has the melanin that amplifies the ultraviolets. Bad, a wimp in front of psychologists. Canada. Pretty. I think she's vegetarian. I'm not sure. Didn't eat that much meat. France. Too much beef. Lots of beef. Big belly. Lots of beef. Very hairy. Too much beef. That's France. Too much beef. And this one, France. Too much pork. Too much pork. France. Pretty. Didn't eat a little bit too much beef when in her youth, but stopped eating a lot of meat. Didn't eat that much meat. France. China. Started old. 80 started at 80. Okay, well, I wouldn't be able. Decided to start. Well, I would say a wimp in front of a psychologist. China. Didn't have the, how should I say, enough information. A wimp in front of a psychologist. Because believe the shit of the psychologist. China, a wimp in front of a psychologist. I don't know which one is a trans woman in there. I don't know. I wouldn't be able to place that as data. One of them is a trans woman with her two friends, her two cis women friends. I don't know which one is. Okay, which one is what? Okay. France. Okay. Well, I don't know. I would say too much beef, but I don't think he's serious to become a woman. Too much beef, and I'm not even sure if he's almost gay, heterosexual or homosexual. Oh yeah, I forgot that one. France. Too much beef and pork. It's hard to say which one. I would say too much pork. France. Oh yeah. China. Trans woman. Transsexual woman actually she got the operation. Trans woman, pretty vegetarian if I recall about her site. Vegetarian. China. China. Oh no, hold on. I'm not sure. Yes, China. Didn't eat that much meat. China. Japan. Transvestite, I think. They're transvestite. They're artists, performers. Vegetarian. I think they're vegetarian. Okay, Japan. Too vegetarian. Pretty, too vegetarian. Alright, Japan. Transsexual woman. I'm not sure if she's identifying as a transsexual woman, but she started young. Wide hips and not that much meat. I'm not sure she's vegetarian, so I would say didn't eat much. Not that much meat she ate. So this is Japan. China. Pretty. Didn't eat that much meat. I made a mistake here. Pretty, but not that much. Alright, do 12. Ooh, please. Here's an old one. Japan. Yeah, Japan. Japanese. Pretty. Not that much meat. good to see somebody pretty over 40. Okay, not that much meat. United States, pretty. I think she's vegetarian. Not that much meat, but pretty. She might be vegetarian, I'm not sure. Okay. United States, pretty. France. Okay. Too much pork and a wimp in front of psychologists. I would say a wimp in front of psychologists. She believes their lies about. She absolutely fears estrogen. Okay, a wimp in front of psychologists. France. France. Too much beef. Too much beef. Too much beef. France. Too much beef. France. Latin America. Okay, two trans women or transsexual women, I'm not sure. Transgender, okay. One is transsexual women. Okay, both of them are pretty, but one is a bodybuilder, so. The one is a bodybuilder, I don't have any choice to say too much beef. The other one is not that much beef. Not that much meat. Okay, they're all both free. Latin America. Latin America, one, too much beef, and the other one is pretty. Both of them, well, pretty and not that much meat. Still all on. Oh, shit, this is depressing. Okay. France. Ew, okay. Bad actor. Too much beef. Too much beef. Bad actor. Bad artist too. Too much beef. But I don't think he's very serious of becoming a woman. France. Too much beef. Latin America. Pretty. Not that much meat. Pretty. Good artist too. Good artists. Okay, not that much meat. Latin America. China. Pretty. Not that much meat. United States. Pretty. Vegetarian, I think. Yeah, vegetarian. Okay. United States, vegetarian. France is a wimp in front of a psychologist. A wimp in front of his wife, too. Lots of beef. Too much beef. And bad art. Too much beef. Bad artist because of it, too. But too much beef. Latin America. No, despite of the mask, but I would say it's well done. Hold on. Pretty. Eyes is pretty. I would say pretty, but not that much, and not that much meat shade. Okay. Latin America. Here's from France. Okay. This guy. Okay, this guy has a bad artist. No. Can't use face tap. Also, I would say he has a problem with his mother. His mother, like a lot of the French mothers are at war with man, and they put it on their sons. So he or she has a lot of problem with their mother. Bad artist, and probably I wouldn't say he's very sick. I'm not gonna add him. I'm not gonna add him to the. I would say, but I could say too much beef. France, too much beef because of the body. Okay, France. Bad artist. Didn't avoid the sun because also being a dark brown hair Gaulois, which probably has the melanin that amplifies the ultraviolet. Bad artist, I guess, unfortunately. Didn't avoid the sun. China has acne, so bad artist on that. But pretty though. Pretty didn't eat that much meat. China. United States. United States. That's too old. You waited too long. A wimp in front of psychologists. A wimp in front of psychologists. United States. That's one. One bad apple for the United States. Canada. Yeah, pretty, but too much cake. Started young. United States, but too much cake. France. Wig. I would say too much beef, maybe a wimp in front of psychologists. I would say a wimp in front of psychologists. Like, I mean, you should have didn't get enough good information. I can't say which one is like between too much pork or too much beef. I would say a wimp in front of psychologists. United States. Pretty vegetarian. United States, pretty vegetarian. China, pretty, very pretty. Vegetarian. China. Japan, no, China. Pretty. Pretty good artist. Probably a little bit too much meat. I'm not sure. Too much beef, maybe. Pretty good artist. So I would say, I can't say vegetarian or eat too much meat. So China, pretty. From dreamstime. United States. Pretty. Vegetarian, I think. Both of them. Pretty. United States, two of them. Pretty vegetarian. Saudi Arabia. Pretty. Not a wimp in front of psychologists. Not a wimp in front of the king. Pretty. Okay. Not that much meat. Especially no pork. Saudi Arabia. Okay. Latin America. Latin America, pretty, not that much meat. United States, pretty, not that much meat. Pretty, not that much meat. United States. Japan, good artists. You see about the wigs, the colored wigs. Not that much meat. One of them a little bit too much cake. Okay, not that much meat. So 4 pretty, one not the 3. Well, they're all 4 pretty, but not that much meat. One of them not that much cake, too much cake, and 3 not that much meat. Japan, pretty, very pretty, 50 years old, vegetarian. Japan, oldish, pretty, not that much meat. Okay, Japan, pretty, not that much meat, and vegetarian. France, a Chilean trans woman in France, very young, pretty, a little bit too much beef though. Too much beef, a little bit, but she's pretty. I would say I will leave it at pretty though. Okay, I'll be magnanimous. Okay, now this is a little bit harder. Hey, United Kingdom. I didn't place United Kingdom, but I'll put it in Canada, the United States, Canada. Okay, they're all pretty, except there's 3 not that much meat, the others too much beef. 4 too much beef. There's 7 of them. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 too much. 5 not that much meat. 2 too much beef. Okay. United Kingdom, but you know, UK. I'll put it there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Too much beef. Okay. United States. I think she's vegetarian. I'm not sure. I'll say vegetarian. Pretty vegetarian. United States. United States. Pretty vegetarian. Quebec, pretty, but too much cake. Pretty, but too much cake. Quebec. Latin America, pretty. Not that much meat. Latin America, pretty, not that much meat. United States, pretty, not that vegetarian. Yeah, vegetarian for her. Okay, ouch. Vegetarian. United States. Here's Unsplash. Unsplash. Okay, plus Unsplash. One of them is a trans woman. Pretty. Very pretty. Not that much meat. United States, not that much meat. Japan. Pretty. One of them is a cis woman, the other one is a trans woman. Pretty. Not that much meat. Okay. Japan. Pretty. Not that much meat. Japan. Pretty. Vegetarian. She's vegetarian, I think so. She's an actress. Japan. Vegetarian. France, the most beautiful actually. France, very pretty. Not that much meat. Most French, the French male is very French males are very rare when they're vegetarian. Not that much meat. France, pretty. Another one is pretty. France. Oh, I forgot to mention it. France. Pretty. Okay, I checked the hair. Seems like a real hair. Pretty. Not that much meat. Okay. France. Pretty. Not that much meat. France. Pretty, but too much beef. I have to state, okay. There's geneticists, biologists, genetical biologists. I found there's suggesting genes or several genes that specify if you are attracted to your family members or the same race or others, the exotics, okay, or people who do not look like you or certain people, okay. And it seems I have I don't find, especially the men, I find French Canadian men and French men, most of them, like, not attractive. Like, they don't attract me at all. They might be beautiful, handsome, but they do not. Same thing with women, okay. So to me, it's a little bit hard to say if they're pretty, because pretty means attractive to me, okay. So it's very hard, okay. A little bit too much beef, but she is pretty. Anyways, so I'm gonna put it to pretty, but I'm not gonna say vegetarian nor not that much meat, unfortunately. France, Quebec, a little bit obnoxious, a bit obnoxious and gives out bad information. But Quebec, pretty, very pretty. So I can't say if she eats not that much meat. I don't know. Quebec, pretty. United States, pretty. Same person, only it's just different hair color. Pretty. Not that much meat. United States, one person. I'm still there. Okay, Latin America. Whoops. Latin America. American native, Latin American native, probably Aztec or I don't know. Okay, or Maya. Pretty, not that much meat. Trans women, they're all trans women. Okay, pretty, not that much meat. France, bad artist. Bad artist. I would say a wimp in front of psychologists. You know, you need to. Bad artist. Probably he's not. No, I'll say he doesn't seem to be serious to become a woman, to be officialized as a woman. I would say too much pork. Too much pork. Even though if you're trying to do a good artistry, it won't work. There's too much pork in your body. You ate too much pork. Too much pork. France, bad artist. Only shaved. A wimp in front of a psychologist. I would say a wimp in front of a psychologist. Believe the shit of the psychologist. Okay. Okay. A wimp in front of a psychologist. Oh well. France, too much beef. Probably too much pork. Both of them, too much beef though, seriously. Okay. Too much beef. Long face, big white face. Looks like one of those Stoneheads in Easter Island. Oh yeah, anyways. Too much beef. France, bad artist, covering his face. Too much beef. I'll say too much beef. I would say yeah. Too much beef, too much beef, too much beef. France. Oh, yeah, bad art. Oh, wax off your face, please. Could be pretty. Bad artist. He could have done a little bit better at that, but I'm not sure. I don't think he's serious to become a winner. Okay, bad artist. France. Not serious to become a winner. I hope not. He's handsome though, but I can't say bad artist. I'd say he's very tall, very long. Okay, too much beef because of his body morphology. Too much beef. Okay. Too much beef. France. Uneducated, can't write the only language he knows. A wimp in front of psychologists. Too much pork. No, he managed, but because he tried to commit suicide like 5 times. So they gave him the hormones and the vaginoplasty in 1 year. Then he tried to commit suicide again after. Too much pork. And not educated. Okay, too much pork. France. Too much beef. A wimp in front of a psychologist, he gave up. But too much beef. France. That was France. Too much beef. Okay. France. Bad artist. Okay, he got a good job. Bad artist. He could pass as a woman, I suppose. I would say bad artist. I mean, when you pump up your body, either like with hormones and stuff like that, you only shave. I don't know. Passes as a woman, I guess. I'd say pretty, but I can't say vegetarian. I can't say didn't eat that much meat. Okay, it's not her fault. Okay, here's another one. France, a wimp in front of psychologists. Believe the lies of the psychologists. Started a little bit too old. Not too old, but 26. He's 26, believe it or not. And I would say too much pork. I'll write down too much pork. Too much pork. France, too much pork. United States. vegetarian, pretty vegetarian. United States, pretty vegetarian. France, very pretty. France, very pretty, done well, take hormones. Didn't eat that much meat because all of her face is proportion, her body is proportion as I see, and didn't eat that much meat. That hurts. United States, pretty. Yeah, it came up quite well. Knows what he's doing, or she was doing. She knows what she's doing. Pretty, but I can't say that she didn't eat that much meat. United States. Nearly finished. Okay, France, very pretty, very pretty. Start well, 25. Started 25. Being shamboodled by psychiatrists for 5 years, but she started at 21, got the hormones at 25. But anyways, she started, but too much cake. But she looks good. Too much cake, too much. The third layer under the skin. Big boobs, big breasts, wide hips, just like the one in Quebec that I've seen. Too much cake. Last one for that one. Okay, last one. Last trans woman. United States. Pretty. I think she's vegetarian. Vegetarian. Pretty vegetarian. Whoops. Okay. Now, the other ones I'm gonna show you the cis women. Meaning that they're born women. They're born with the X. I'm not gonna say the chromosomes because sometimes they're born XY chromosome, but they don't have the sex determining region. So they're born with a vagina and a uterus, and also the ovaries, but they don't produce any ovules. So I'm gonna show you cis women, the ones who are born with vagina, uterus, and ovaries. Okay. Japan. I'm not gonna. Okay, just for how should I say? Japan, just for comparing. China. No, Canada actually. Canada. Vancouver to be more. Germany. They're all cis women. France. United States. All cis women. Japan. Okay. France. Now you can see this is a dark hair Gaulois. French dark hair Gaulois from France. Now you can see this. Now you can see my face is different because it's a little bit more masculine, but she has a big nose. Her eyes, but racially same race as me, from France. It's a cis woman. Germany. Okay. Germany again. United States. And France. And France again. She's a Frankish woman, Germanic woman, Franks. Probably maybe the nobility descent, or she's a peasant, a Frankish peasant. Okay, so that's it. Okay, so that's it for this video. That's the whole video. You're allowed to plagiarize me, or you're allowed to use what my data to go ahead and to how should I say, evolve from there. And here's the data. Okay. Okay, I have to be careful because of, like, arthritis, very bad arthritis. I overwork myself and I overcycle myself, you know, from city to city with a bicycle. Whatever. Every time I sit down for a long time, I have trouble moving my legs. Okay, so this is the data. I don't have to. Okay. Now you get an idea. Okay, I'll probably I have other photos of trans women, but those I collected since 2008 to 2000. The last ones that I've done, I've collected from 2020 to up to today, and the other ones I've collected from 2008 to about 2019. Okay, so that's it for today. Okay, next time. I gotta check. Yes.